क्या हाल है? कैसे हैं आप लोग? क्या हाल है? कैसे हैं आप लोग?
I'm fed up with fuckers. Oh, Pancho, I've with you all.
DXP weekends. Hi, how are you? How's everybody? How are you guys? How's everything? Yeah, I'm seeing some new interesting stuff going on Instagram. I'm just wondering what's going on. I mean, my Instagram feed is kind of notifications. They are going up and down. It wasn't before, like a week ago. Now, since last 1 week, some unusual activities has been, I've seen. So I hope things are going to be positive. And what else we have? We have nothing in this quarantine time other than in this difficult time. We are all, bound in our home and houses. We're trying to talk, trying to get out from this mental cage. We are all caged, locked up. Yeah, there's a very interesting thing. Hey, I've been asked lately not by one, by two persons, and just happened back to back within 2-3 days. Two person asked me the same question. What is photography? And I started laughing because it's a question which most of us who holds a camera, we don't know. We think that we know, but we don't know. Even I don't know. But my constant quest for learning, I am pretty much sure will help me one day to get the answer about this question. What is photography? It's just crazy thing. To be very honest, it's really crazy. For example, let me tell you. What is photography? Well, you'll say, well, you're just having a camera, you just point in one direction, take a picture, that's it, right? That's photography. That's what it is. You are taking pictures, well, that's not the case actually. To be very honest, that's not the case. For me, photography is a very big thing. The more I try to know, the more I lost, trying to find the meanings. And that's really crazy, right? The more I want to know, the more I'm losing myself in that. I don't know what is photography, but what I do know it is one thing for sure about photography is something which makes you connect with that thing which has been photographed, which makes you feel to connect with that photograph, which makes you feel like you wish to be there. If it's a landscape or if it's a person portrait, you wish to be there to see that person so closely, so you can like reach out that person, try to feel okay, yeah, that's what that person in reality looks like. Or if it's about any object, you feel like, oh, I wish to be there to capture that thing and to see how it feels in my hand. And 90%, well, 90% is kind of unrealistic number, but if I'm talking some realistic numbers, on like 95% of the photographs that we are seeing on Facebook groups are related to photography. Those groups doesn't know jack about photography, doesn't know crap. I'm sorry, but that's the reality. Even myself, my photo sucks big time. Big time. But I constantly pushing myself, trying to reach to the top, to a place where my photographs, start speaking with the with the viewers. They tell stories. So once you see that image, you're like, wow, I wish to be there. I don't have that level, I know that, but I'm constantly trying. And then when I see people photographs on Facebook groups, and I start wondering when they are going to get unplugged, when they are going to realize that their photography means no value to other people other than their close friends, other than their like-minded people. And the worst part of having a group of friends or having a group of like-minded people, the worst part is they will ultimately going to praise your worst work as well, because that's how world works. You scratch my back, I scratch your back, right? That's not the thing. Even if I'm your best friend and I don't like your image, so I shouldn't be praising your work at all. I only praise your best thing. And we hardly out of thousands, we hardly have one guy who really goes to that level of really criticizing our work, and we shouldn't get feel offended from that person when they start talking rubbish about our work, because that person is really sincere towards my work. That's why he's talking rubbish, because my work is rubbish. But that's not the reality. We are living in a world of islands. Those photography groups, those islands, they are just work like, okay, you and I are having same school of thought. Okay, just come with me. Let's join my group. Let's come to that Facebook group. Let's start. And oh, I love your work. Why? Because we are thinking same. And ultimately, we quickly reach to a point where we are pressing the like button even we don't want to. Why? Because if we are going to like that, they are going to like my work. It's just a trade-off. It's just pure business of game of likes. So are we doing photography for the sake of photography, or we are just doing photography for the sake of likes, for the game of likes? So that's what's going on. We are doing photography just for the game of likes, because that's what we are. We are human. That's why photography sucks. Our photography sucks. We are not trying to make a difference. We are just trying to be famous. We are just trying to you know stand out without standing out. In order to stand out, or in order to get spotlight, we really need to work our ass off. Walaikum assalam. Yeah man, I'm good. रमज़ान करीम आपको भी बहुत बहुत रमज़ान मुबारक. You know, the game of likes. The more these days in quarantine time, I'm thinking about how to connect my camera with emotions. I am very much struggling because this is what we are. We are not understanding the core. We are just hunting for likes, the game of likes. And that's why our photography sucks. All of us. All of us. You give me one name of a photographer from Pakistan that you know that whose work really speaks a human emotion, or who really connects to your soul or with any of your human intellect or with any of your human emotions which translate into imaginary. You just give me one name that you know. There ain't much. We have hundreds and thousands of photographers in Pakistan. Hardly anybody's work speaks. There are some excellent photographers, which really, technically, they are the best. Chacha Farooq Bhai. See, Farooq Bhai work is standard for capturing human face. Okay? Somehow you see his images, Farooq Bhai images, and you connect with the person who he shot, who he got framed. You immediately connect with that person. This is what's special about Chacha photography. Farooq Bhai. He famous with the name of Chacha photography. So, and he mostly captures laborers, person from the street, who have never seen camera, who shy from shooting camera. But he captures. He hardly shot any beautiful face or chicks. No. There are some images which when you see any street photography or you see any legends, international photojournalist works, you see their images, you automatically connect with their images because they are capturing human elements, the way human captures into the frame with their surrounding. And this is something which hardly anybody knows in our country, to connect the user into the frame with the surrounding. No, we always just focus on the subject. I was like that. For many years I used to just focus on the subject, forget about the surrounding. And this is something which I now start focusing on. Nope. Street photography is all about placing and connecting the subjects in a way which imitates a story, which makes you connect with the image, which makes you feel to be there. Hey, this is what I'm all about. For real photography, it's all about when you see an image, you wish to be there. This is now my understanding has become about photography. Like, if I want to be a photographer, I have to be master, or I have to find a way to connect the machine that I have in my hand with my emotions. And if I able to connect my emotions with my camera, if I accidentally come up with that thing, maybe I'm able to connect. Maybe I'm able to make storytelling images. Steve McCurry and all those famous guys from Steve, Sean Tucker. from England. You watch Sean's work, that guy work speaks volume. And he's just a simple guy. He just have one camera with one 23mm lens, which is equal to 35mm focal length. That's it, prime lens. Tuck, 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 tuck. And he's doing some magical work, man. I don't know how he's doing, but he is doing. And I'm just always wonder how people able to connect with the camera. I yet have to connect with my camera. I have no idea. I feel myself these days, the more time I'm spending in quarantine, the more I'm realizing I have wasted a lot of time. I should have done many things way before. But that's what life is. I think and I believe that I meant to waste my time before to realize the hidden truth about photography, because if I wouldn't waste my time, I wouldn't realize it. You know what is bad or what is good? What is good? Good is something. Anything can be good if you haven't seen the bad. So that's what it is. Now I realized I wasted. Why? Because now I start learning. I hope I'm able to make a point right now, because if you haven't seen the bad, you don't know what is good. So in the same pattern, in order to know that truth, I need to understand what I have wasted in photography. So now I start learning what is photography. And this is way tough. Consider this as a part of a learning curve. See, there is nothing left for me now when it comes to technical photography. I learned almost everything when it comes to technical photography. And I start feeling bored because there is none. From micro four third, media crop sensor, full frame, media format. I explored everything. I shot with every format, every digital format. I own most of the formats. I know the pros and cons of the different formats. I know where they apply. I know what they are doing. Like using what kind of format you can get the best result. I've done it all. There is nothing left. So what's left now when it comes to photography? Well, now the real learning starts, which is capturing the image. If I yet have to learn what is capturing an image, so what those 50,000 frames I have shot since last 7-8 years. So what was those 50,000 frames? I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know that those 50,000 frames that I shot, they're just rubbish. They're just garbage. Yeah. And now, since as I am enjoying photography now, what the true photography is, which I think, well, you guys can obviously have your own definition of what is photography is, which obviously I'm not going to comment upon. It's your call what you think photography is. But my very definition of what is photography is totally different now. I am more into capturing emotions, capturing story now. Last shot that I uploaded was a macro shot. of a flower with a bee on it. That's a normal fly which was on the flower, and that was not part of the image. I was shooting flower, and suddenly into the frame the bee came, and I tuck tuck tuck. I took like 5-6 shots, and I felt, yeah, I, that bee suddenly becomes part of that flower, like it's searching for food. Suddenly I found a story into a flower which was dead. Just one fly came, sit on a flower, makes a story, right? That's what learning is. I have 1 month more than like 40, 45, 50 days, actually more than that, in my gallery of the apartment. Those pigeons, they laid eggs, they grown up since last over a month. Now those two eggs which hatched, they become two big birds now. So I shot them from the day when they were in the eggs till now when they become this big. Now they are flying. They are literally flying. And I became a part of the process of seeing them growing from the egg all the way to the big pigeon. And I was wondering, wow, how nature provides them shelter, which was my gallery, and how their parents literally feeding them through their mouth. Even though they become big, they're still feeding them. Now they become big enough since last 1 week. They are flying, they are eating by themselves. So I was witnessing all those and I was like, wow. Now these type of things were not part of our daily life because we all are so much busy in job, traveling, trying to explore something crazy. No. Storytelling. Your brain needs to be there to a level where you have to feel the scene, and once you start feeling the scene, then you suddenly start making your own story, and your story that you are going to make is basically based upon your past experiences, how you spend your life, and you could be having a hard time, you could be having a good time in your life. So what you have felt before ultimately be reflecting in your image. There's a very funny thing happened with me in my office. There's a colleague of mine, and I know that colleague of mine since like 14 years, for 13, 10, I don't know. Yeah, 13, 12, 13 years. I know that guy. His name is Imtiaz. And I trust me, and I'm not joking this, and I'm not making this stuff. I used to watch him. He used to take photos, and I was like, wow, man, your photos really good. Can you teach me? And can you take good photos of mine? I'm talking about 12 years old, 13 years old. And yeah, he used to, yeah, come to Jumeirah, and I'll take you good photos. Like, wow, man, you are really good. And last year, quarter 2019, I was sitting with him. I saw him, we met, I was like, wow, man, long time no see, how are you? Yeah, he's in different department, I work in different department. So after a very long time, after years of time, we met. I was like, man, and he was start praising me as like, wow, man, you have become a legend, and you literally said, I'm not making. He said, you become a big name, and you know so much about photography. I was like, no, man, I'm not still learning. Remember, I asked you to take my photos. Like, yeah, I remember. You asked me to take your photo, and but look at you now, you become this. And I was like, man. And he said that I'm constantly watching your work on Instagram, on Facebook. Your work shows loneliness. And I was like, what? He said, yeah, I have noticed that. Your images are more, it reflects loneliness. And I was literally scratching my head like that. I took out my mobile and started looking at my images, and I show him how you can tell me that my images are all lonely. And he was literally, he jumped on me, my images, and he started pointing out, this one looks lonely. And I was like, and like, okay, yeah, it is. So suddenly, that friend of mine showed me a new dimension about my work, which I haven't experienced or I haven't noticed. But what I learned on that evening, on that point when he mentioned that my images is all about loneliness, what I learned that in my subconscious mind there is nothing but loneliness. So that thing jumping in my conscious mind without letting me know, without letting my conscious mind that there is a darkness, there is a loneliness in the back of my mind, and if you want to capture, okay, do it this way. So that unconscious mind was the driving force of my photography, and I was all the time in this uh, in this dilemma, in this what do I say? In this thought all the time that I am taking photos. No, I wasn't taking my photos. It was my unconscious mind who was taking my all these photos all the time. And I was like, damn. Subconscious mind is the thought always reflects in your thought work as in writing. Exactly. So subconscious mind makes me taking those images which my friend thought are lonely. So now I start believing that my subconscious mind is very strong in seeing things black and white, because I quickly see an image and I quickly realized this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good in black and white. This is not. This is it. This is not. So, and people don't realize that. That's why. So, ultimately, the bottom line of all this is this: if you want to have impactful photography, storytelling in photography, don't shoot from your conscious mind. Let it be handled by your subconscious. Just go, feel, and shoot. Don't think. Don't think. You have to feel. And sometimes it makes you cry. Once you really feel something too much, it makes you cry. That's the power of subconscious mind. So, I don't know. That's how I feel. That's how I realize that subconscious mind is so freaking powerful that lets you take so many things which you cannot take with your conscious mind. Today I uploaded on my Instagram that black and white image of my grandmother before she died. And I still remember that day when I took that photo. I cried a lot after taking that photo. because she had no idea where she was. She cannot see, she wasn't able to see, she wasn't able to speak, she wasn't able to talk. She was just lying on the bed like a dead body. Even though she was alive, but she had no idea where she was because she was too old. And I captured the essence of that photography is this: how anybody how anybody can be helpless when they cannot able to do anything by themselves. They are how humanly we are depending on others when we are unable to do anything by themselves by ourselves. And today morning when I was uploading that image on Instagram, before that I cried a lot. I am a guy and I have no shame in saying that I cried. Yeah, I did. Because that image still very close to my heart. Because I tried to show some emotions about a person who was going to die. Most of you cannot feel that image unless you've been into that kind of a situation where you are helplessly depending on something or someone. Like right now I am. I am all alone since last 40-50 days. 45-50 days. All alone. Nobody's with me. I am just sitting in this room. I'm talking to myself. No, I know. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. The more I trying to learn photography, the more I am learning this fact that it's too freaking difficult. I cannot take it sometimes. Because I think I'm not that strong to hold myself to take these kind of images. Or I think that my mind is not, there is one, today evening I was talking with one of my friend, Tanzila. She is really good in street photography. And while I was talking to her, because we were talking about why our work is not being appreciated, why our work is not being acknowledged among our fellow colleagues and people outside Pakistan, they always admire our work, but our own people are not admiring our work. And somehow I don't know, randomly it came into my mind like, in our country, so many people are doing photography, which they even desire to do, which they even not supposed to do. Yeah, which they know shouldn't be doing. Photography is something, there is a famous saying that we saw in movies that you don't pick the car picks the driver don't pick the car. Same applies in photography. You think that you buy a camera and you become a photographer? Hell no. Photography, you cannot choose photography. Photography always chooses you. You like it or not. That's a hardcore fact which I just realized. You cannot choose photography. Photography always chooses you. And if you think you choose photography, which ultimately photography doesn't choose you, but still you somehow trying to attach to photography, your work always sucks. No matter whatever you do, no matter whoever guru you are associated with, no matter how many courses you're gonna attend, how many paid content you will go for. If you are not for photography, you've never been. Photography always chooses you. No, because I have seen examples, yaar. I have seen examples. The guy doesn't have a camera, and he was taking much better photos than me or anybody else who owns a lot of cameras and lenses. How? Because photography chose them. And I'm trying to choose photography. It's just like I'm trying to love somebody who doesn't love me. So it's just one-way traffic, right? You think that kind of relation, how long it gonna last? Zero. You cannot associate it with it. It's just one-way love. You keep saying you love photography. Photography doesn't love you. I may sound like a crazy person right now, which I don't care, but this is the reality. And you guys will understand after when you reach to a point in your life when you feel like disconnecting from the system, disconnecting from media, from people, from the world, from all these kind of matrix type of a thing which keeps you feeding in your mind all the time. Once you disconnect from the system, then you start evolving your true self. And this is what I'm doing right now. And I have so many things spawn upon my head. I cannot able to gather. And now I'm struggling. Did I choose photography or did photography choose me? And I think, and this is what I'm trying to realize, I feel like photography chose me to be a best mechanic for photography rather than driving a photography. Yeah, I can be a best mechanic. I can tell you the best gear. Because this is where I went down so deep that those technical things are on my fingertips. So by just looking at a genre, or by just going through your wish list, I can tell you this, go with this gear, and you will get the best shot. There is a mechanic of the car and there is a driver of the car. So consider, I think I can be a good mechanic of the photography. I can tell you the best gear, all these kind of combination. But I cannot be a good photographer because this is something which I'm still struggling at. But when it comes to gear, I am fully confident that I can tell you something which nobody can give you. Of course, it's still learning process. Still learning. So photography, I am still trying to find out that did photography choose me or did I choose a photography? I think I choose a photography, but photography doesn't like me. Not yet. It's not reflecting in my work. I am so realistic when it comes to this because I don't want to make a false expression or false impression on other people that I am a big shot. Oh, I am Babar Swalehin, I own this much gear, my photography this. That's all bullshit. That's all bullshit. Junaid bhai, AJ bhai. AJ bhai, thanks for all this year. Thanks for all the kind comment. I don't know I choose photography or photography choose me, but I know one thing for sure that I was under a false impression for like 7-8 years that I know photography. And I realized in 2019 that I don't know photography. Not at all. And that thing caused me it's like a jolt in my mind and it's shaking my foundation. Because learning technical thing can be done by anybody. Learning the aesthetics thing, about photography, it's not for everybody. Your mind needs to be at that level where it connects with the image and translate into some masterpiece. When anybody sees that masterpiece, it immediately feel like connecting with the image. My images doesn't reflect that feeling. I thought that most of my liked images are awesome. No, they are not. They are not. What makes me realize that? Well, I look at my images now with this new state of mind and I'm re-evaluating my work of last 8 years. It doesn't feel, it's not connecting with me anymore. So I'm just wondering what I was before and what I am right now. What was I was thinking when I was taking those images? I was just like, I have to take image. I have to take image. 70 to 200, full frame, 2.8, bang. It's going to be awesome. Why? Because background is going to be blurred. 2.8. Chicks is going to be look good. Or if you shoot chicks, you can get more light. Just like every other guy, I was under the same school of thought. This is the way I started because I saw the trend. And now I realized how stupid I was. Now I realized how stupid I was. Now I am more into shooting with 35mm. Suddenly I start feeling I have to shoot with 35mm. Why 35mm? Why not 50? Why not 20? No, 35mm. 35mm lens is one of the most, people say that, oh, it's equal to the human angle of view. It provides you the same angle of view, right? Just like human eye. Yeah, that's right. But 35mm is one of the focal length where you can put a subject in a way you can take a portrait, not only portrait, but you can also take a portrait with environment in it without distorting its face or his or her face. So I suddenly start feeling like 35mm and I shot 35mm like this frame. Let me show you. That's my niece, like nephew. It's from the crop sensor camera. And that's a manual focus lens. I shot with it. It's just a normal portrait. Nothing special. But I tried to step up. I tried to feel like if I take like this one, there's another one. Like this one. That's my niece. She was studying and I just quickly, sneak behind her and she suddenly turned towards me and I took a shot. That's my brother. He was shaving and I just took a shot like this. Kind of an environmental shot. And that's my nephew. He was playing on the PS4 and I took a shot. You understand what I'm trying to do? So this is what I'm trying to do now. Environmental stuff which makes you feel to be there. Like my brother was having a shave, so I took a shot and using a manual focus lens. My niece was studying. My nephew was playing. There is another shot. Yeah, this one. Check this out. Check this out. This is really interesting. He was taking a PlayStation. You see the controller in his hand? So I was down and I shoot him all the way. He was sitting on a chair. See? This is the new front that I am learning myself towards for. The lens that I shot with, that lens is so cheap. It's around $70 to $75. That's it. Manual focus lens. It's very sharp. It's 25mm 1.8 lens. I used it on Fujifilm crop sensor camera and I took a shot because I feel like, yeah, that's gonna be a good combination. Lightweight, small lens, good for me. And I feel once my technical requirements fulfilled, and I was like, okay, let me start taking some storytelling images which makes you feel like to be there. That was took like 2 days ago. So yeah, yesterday I took. So that's the whole idea. Feels to be there. Try to connect with the people. Try to connect with human emotions, which makes you feel to be there. Enough with this regular stuff. With these, I don't feel like shooting them anymore. Going out into the wild nature, that's also a part of a self-evolution. How many of us goes into the wild taking photos? Hardly anybody. Traveling photographers, they spend their lives on the street, into a desert, mountains, seaside, lakes, abandoned places. Wandering on the roads, trying to get something which you haven't seen. This is what real photography is. Anything which makes you feel to be there, that's what real photography is. And I felt like when I'm trying to see my old stuff, it's just regular thing. There's nothing special. It's nothing special. Best travel camera and lens. Fujifilm X-T30 with 18 to 55 f2.8 to f4 lens, OIS. I repeat, Fujifilm. I just got a question that was the best travel camera and the lens. Best travel camera, Fujifilm X-T30 with 18 to 55 kit lens. You just take one camera and one lens. Trust me, you don't need anything else. That's the best combination that you can get. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend that lens. 18 to 55, whose aperture is variable from f2.8 to f4 maximum. That lens is so freaking awesome. All metal, sharp as hell, with optical image stabilization. The more you think, the less you know. That's true. The more I'm thinking these days, I am realizing the less I know. I somehow, and I've seen people who constantly investing in photography, trying to make a difference, but it still looks like photography doesn't choose them. Photography is not going to choose them. They are not meant for photography. And I'm feeling sorry for them. I don't feel like telling them that they are wasting their money, because they will feel offended, they will feel like I am against them. That's not the right thing. But I wish to find some way to tell them photography it's not they it's not for them. They can keep the camera, they can keep the lens, but don't take it as a full-time professional, because it's not for them. They would have spent this money or this kind of things to some other thing, beneficial thing. I used to thought that I know my photography was good, and in 2020 I'm still finding my style. I know my style. For black and white, I know my style. But I need to find something which makes me feel relaxed when it comes to photography. You know that image which I just uploaded for Ramadan Kareem, that mosque, black and white mosque? That one of the image which very dear to me. Very dear to me, because I wrote a whole blog on that image. That black and white image with clouds on the top, like a phoenix bird, which is an imaginary bird. A phoenix is a bird like made of fire or something. So the cloud was formation in the sky was like a phoenix. That's why I named that image the flight of the phoenix. So the cloud formation was in the sky like a phoenix, and in the bottom I just show a little glimpse of a dome and the minar of a mosque. I was driving all the way on the opposite side. I was driving here, the mosque was on the way back over here, and the mosque was there, and I just passed by from this side, and there is a traffic coming next to the mosque on the other side. So I was driving, I just saw that scene while driving at the speed of 100. I just saw that scene. Within 2 seconds, literally within 2 seconds, I realized that this is the shot that I am going to take. The question was, I was driving, I cannot stop immediately. So I went like 2 kilometers, I took a U-turn, came back, stopped in front of the mosque. Quickly take off my camera. I shot with 30mm, few frames. Still somehow not connected to me. I thought I had a frame. Then there was a bridge next to the mosque. After the mosque, there's a bridge. Because I was drawing in this direction, so I took the shot right from the front of the mosque. Then I went all the way to the top of the bridge. On the end of the bridge, because I have to take another turn and go back in this direction. So when I was taking a U-turn from the bridge, I stopped the car at the exit, and I took a telephoto lens and I took a shot. When I was standing in the front, I was using 30mm. When I was at the end of the bridge, I shot with 80mm all the way. Same angle, same everything. My focal length was changed. So I took a shot and I went past. I came home. I thought I got the shot from 80mm from here. But no. When I was watching the images, I realized that the imagination that I have in my mind while I was passing by, that imagination was matching, quote unquote, with 30mm focal length, which I took a shot right from the front, not from 80mm from the far. And I thought while I was taking the image that, yeah, from 80mm I got the shot. No. When I was sitting on a computer trying to edit the image black and white, I realized no, 30mm shot was much more matching with my imagination. So I took that shot. I edited heavily black and white. And that was it. That was it. And that image hits me so deep because it came somewhere from the back of my subconscious mind. When I see that image every single time, it hits me. It hits me. And I'm talking about this lens. This image. So this was the bird formation that called Phoenix. And I just hardly took a glimpse of that minar and this dome. Hardly. That's called Flight of the Phoenix. And the editing that I took, that was in my head for a long time. I want to take this kind of shot. And that mosque, even I don't know where it was. That was a new road that I explored, and I just came across it and I shot it. That's it. Strange, right? Because it came from inside. And I'm very happy. I don't care if anybody likes this image or not. Seriously, I don't care. Because I like that image a lot. People say whatever the F they like, but I love this image. Anyways, so that always happens. There's always something to learn. I can help you in learning technical photography, technical things about camera, but I cannot teach you photography because even I don't know what photography really is. I'm still struggling by myself. AJ bhai, you are right, because you're right and I agree with you. But I also learned that our choices has to be so compelling, so strong, that when time comes, excuse me, I was saying that our choices and our best must be so strong and so compelling that when time comes, they will defend our words. That's a deep thing, and I'm sure people who know what I'm saying, they know what I mean. You are right, Ajay bhai. 100% agree with you. Anyways, guys, time's up. 1 hour gone. It's always 1 hour gone so quickly. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you everyone who joined in. Always pleasure to see you guys. Take care. Stay safe.